Newton's first law is the law of inertia. This one states that objects in motion tend to stay in motion and objects at rest tend to stay at rest. We can take as an example a bicycle. You have to overcome the inertia to get your bicycle moving. Newton's second law says that the force is the product of mass times acceleration. To cause an object to accelerate or speed up, a force must be applied. The acceleration is proportional to the net force and is inversely proportional to the mass. This means that if the net force was double, the acceleration of the object will be twice as large, and if the mass of the object was double, its acceleration would be half as large. This one states that for every action there's an equal and an opposite reaction. For example, when you drop a ball, the action is when the ball hits the floor and it causes a downward force on the floor. The reaction is when the floor pushes the ball with the same force but in an opposite direction. Interstellar is a movie about humanity that is trying to save themselves by understanding the physics of space and time. In the movie, they talk about space and time travel, wormholes, black holes, and other many things. In the YouTube video of the fundamentals of space and time, we know that in a black hole the curvature of space and time becomes so large that its equation explodes. We can identify that in the movie at the end, when Mr. Cooper wakes up, he's already 124 years old and he sees his daughter Morph at the hospital and she's way older than him. We call this twin paradox, and this is part of the basic information about relativity. Einstein made thesis about this stating that the laws of physics are the same for all observers regardless of their frame of reference. When we accelerate to a speed close to light's speed, called the electromagnetic spectrum, time slows down for you compared to an outside observer. The only way for that to happen is for the space to get smaller, because it curves or falls, which we know as gravity. We can see this in the videos exploring other dimensions and the fundamentals of space-time. Thanks to the videos, we know that everything attracts everything and that gravity controls the universe. In the movie, Morph thought that what she saw was a ghost, but it was actually gravity that was communicating with her with the three-dimensional world. We can relate the movie with the first Newton's law, that is inertia, because the law of inertia is extremely important in space travel, because in the absence of gravity, as long as you have an initial thruster to propel the spacecraft forward, it will continue going forward. In one part of the movie, almost at the end, when Mr. Cooper is about to leave Miss Brown so she can accomplish the mission, he tells her, Newton's third law, to move forward we have to leave something behind. We think that this phrase can mean a lot of things. We think that it's possible that Cooper wasn't talking about physics. He was talking more like in an emotional way, but stating Newton's law, and that he was talking about all the things they have gone through. For example, when Doyle died in the water planet in like a tsunami. In the video of how tsunamis work, we know that tsunamis are commonly known as tide waves, but they are actually unrelated to the tidal activity caused by the gravitational forces of the sun and the moon. We think that this scene was also related to Newton's second law that says that the acceleration of an object is dependent upon two variables, the net force acting upon the object and the mass of the object. Talking about physics, we think that when Cooper stated Newton's third law, he meant about when his and Tar's rangers were used to reduce the mass of Amelia's Endurance so that the mass could be reduced in order for Endurance to have the speed to overcome the gravity of the Garantua, therefore making the slingshot possible with the least amount of fuel consumed. When in the movie they approach the black hole, gravity is such that it accelerates them at a speed of that magnitude. Although time feels the same inside the ship, a lot of years have passed on Earth, because Earth does not double as much space as the black hole. Speed equals space travel over time travel and describes one aspect of motion, which is where Newton fails and why Einstein is so important. In the video of the fundamentals of space and time, they explain this, saying that Newton explained relativity using the ideas of force and acceleration, but without explaining space and time, and that's why Einstein explained this better. When Cooper ejects himself from his craft and everyone thought he died, he actually landed in a tesseract. a cube that is perpendicular to all three existing directions, and this is explained in the video Exploring Dimensions. That's when he realizes how to communicate with Morph.